What's up, crypto gang? Welcome back to another episode. If you guys are new here, we do a giveaway at the beginning of every single episode, and today's winner is Anderson Azevedo. Thanks so much for commenting with your wallet address, Anderson. I just sent you some crypto. On this episode, I'm going to be going over who runs the top cryptocurrency exchanges. I've spent a few days compiling some data from SimilarWeb. SimilarWeb is an analytics company that allows you to look up pretty much any website online and you can see all of the referring URLs. It breaks down traffic between organic search, social, display ads, all that good stuff. But what I was really interested in was diving into the social referrals. What I found was pretty substantial. In fact, an average of 4% of all traffic to exchanges is from social media, and half of that traffic is just from YouTube alone. There are a few economic fundamentals in cryptocurrency that I thoroughly enjoy thinking about, and one of them was actually proven out in January of 2019 with Proof of Keys Day, which effectively was a bank run on the cryptocurrency exchanges. One of the biggest cases of a bank run was obviously the Great Depression, and that was when people went in crisis to pull their money out of the banks, and banks started to go insolvent where they couldn't actually back up the money that the people were trying to withdraw. A lot of other factors went into that, and I'm not gonna dive down that rabbit hole too much because crypto economics is very fascinating to me around the ideas of financial sovereignty and basically a new world order where governments and different states are actually competing for their citizens to pay their taxes. One last example before I dive into the data is about the word boycott. Boycott was actually started from a landowner. His last name was Boycott, and it was back in like the early 1900s. He actually owned land and his tenants were really angry at him, and he was a ruthless landlord essentially. So all of the businesses within his town agreed to not transact with him, and they agreed to not help him whenever he needed anything in that town, and it eventually ran him out of town. This was where the term boycott was coined. So in reference to that boycott example, where a small community of business owners decided not to transact with one landlord that was ruthless and they wanted to run him out of town, they just stopped using him. They stopped allowing him to purchase their goods, they stopped allowing to transact with him, and eventually he just took off. So relating all of that to cryptocurrency and the small community that it is, where everyone actually has their financial freedom and they have their ability to control their own finances and you don't need a middleman, this is where I bring in the cryptocurrency exchanges. And that's why it's important for things like that Proof of Keys event that Trace Mayer really pioneered, where you're actually doing a bank run on the exchanges. It's important to keep these people responsible. That's why I actually wanted to dive into the data around the traffic that is going to these exchanges. Who is actually lifting these exchanges up? Who is helping these exchanges grow? And ultimately, 2% of all of their traffic is coming from you guys that are watching this YouTube video, from people like me on YouTube, and from fellow creators that are making videos about exchanges, showing them on video. It is supporting the growth of these exchanges because we choose to engage with them. So in this episode, all I'm really gonna be going through is the fact that we as a community are contributing to around 4 to 5% of the growth of all of the exchanges in the space. So I chose the top 6, 2 pretty scammy ones that I wanted to showcase, and some of the top ones in volume. And I broke down their numbers so that you guys can get a chance to see exactly how much is being referred from YouTube specifically. I plugged in 2 numbers, one pretty conservative, which was a 2% conversion rate of all traffic coming from YouTube, which is really conservative. And then on the more aggressive side, I decided to do a 10% conversion rate of all the traffic, assuming that everyone that is coming from YouTube, 10% of those are signing up. And then I also broke it down into tranches of $100 deposits. So when these people convert onto these exchanges, they are depositing $100. So directly how it will affect the bottom line of these exchanges if, for example, we decided to boycott KuCoin or something like that. So let's dive right into the numbers. The first one definitely is Binance. Binance has 29 million unique visitors every month. 4% of that is from all of social media, and 52% of that 4% is YouTube alone. So YouTube represents more than half of Binance's social traffic. And that accounts to about 580,000 unique visitors every month. And with a 2% conversion rate, that is 11,600 people going to their website. Assuming that those 2% spend $100, you are looking at $1.1 million onto the exchange. With a 10% conversion rate of that traffic coming from YouTube, you are looking at 5.8 million. Next up, we have Coinbase. With 22 million unique visitors every month, we have a 3% referral from all of social media, and 51% of that referral traffic is just from YouTube alone. And with that, it's about 330,000 uniques coming from YouTube each month to Coinbase, and that represents 6,600 people at a 2% conversion if they each deposit $100, which is actually what Coinbase's referral program insists on, is when you get your referral bonus. They can potentially bump to $660,000 per month. And with a 10% conversion rate, that's about 33,000 people, and that's about $3.3 million if each person that converts from YouTube is spending $100. Next up, we have Bittrex. Bittrex has 6.8 million monthly unique visitors. 3.5% of that are coming just from social media, and 49% of that social media traffic is just coming from YouTube. That's about 119,000 people coming from YouTube every month to Bittrex. And with a 2% conversion rate, that's about 2,380 people. And it's looking like if they each spend $100, that's $238,000. And with a 10% conversion of the traffic coming from YouTube, we have 11,900 people with $1.1 million. Next up, the crowd pleaser, BitMEX. This one I've seen all over YouTube, and rightfully so. You can see in the metrics that there are 10.2 million people every month that go to BitMEX. Out of that, 4.3%, so more than Binance, are actually coming from social media, and 52% of that, so half of the social traffic, is coming from YouTube, which is about 204,000 people every month coming from YouTube to the BitMEX platform. And with a 2% conversion rate, you're looking at 4,000 people and about $400,000. And with a 10% conversion, you're looking at 20,000 new people depositing $100. You're looking at about 2 million. Those are my top 4 exchanges that are very, very highly reliant on YouTube when it comes to social traffic. And this is just things that are attributed through the service SimilarWeb, and that's what I'm looking at right now, and you guys can see in the background. And these 2 next exchanges I have nothing to do with, and they are merely just exposés of their reliance on YouTube and the fact that they're all off on volume-wise, and I'm not fans of these people, but I just wanted to showcase what it looks like for smaller exchanges. Next up, we have HitBTC. John McAfee, who hates HitBTC. You have 3.1 million uniques a month, 3.5% from social media, 48% from YouTube, and 52,000 new uniques coming just from YouTube each month. And with a 2% conversion rate, that's about 1,000 people. If they each spend $100, you're looking at $100,000. At a 10%, you're looking at 5,000 people, and you're looking at about $500,000. And they're doing $7.4 billion in 30-day volume, which is kind of a goofy comparison there. After only having 3.5 million uniques every month, they are somehow doing more than half of what Binance is doing each month. Next up, we have KuCoin. That is 3.9 million uniques a month, 4.8%, the highest reliance on social media traffic, and 53% of that is coming from YouTube, with a total of 97,000 people coming from YouTube. That's it for my analysis of the top exchanges and their reliance on social media traffic, specifically on YouTube. YouTube on average is producing more than 51% of all of the social traffic to exchanges, meaning that the next up is around Twitter to Facebook, and those are around the 11 to 12% mark. So it's easily 3 to 4 times the amount of referral traffic is just coming from YouTube to all these exchanges. Using the example earlier of boycotting and how it was one bad actor in a town and all of the business owners in that town decided not to transact or even talk about that one business owner, which then drove him out of town. So you should be encouraging really good behavior when it comes to these exchanges, and the good exchanges that are actually being supported by YouTubers and by people on social media. I applaud those good exchanges. The question I pass off to you guys as the cryptocurrency community is, do you think that boycotts using social media would work? on exchanges that, for example, were bad actors and you wanted to run them out of town. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, slap a like. If you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next episode of Hack Crypto.